So I have a couple of questions. One is when we say that the debt funds are ultra safe, particularly the ones issued by the government gilt funds, if that is the case, then why the sovereign rating is not a AAA? Because if government is ultra safe, the rating should have been higher, right? That's the one question I have. The second is the SEBI has kind of standardized the mutual fund categories, but still each fund within the same category follows a different benchmark for comparison. Is there a possibility even the benchmark can be standardized? Thank you.
Your first question that, sovereign rating is not the highest and why it is considered in India, the sovereign rating, that sovereign rating is for the foreign investors. India may not have the highest rating for foreign investors, but for Indians, the sovereign borrowing is the highest, is the safest, because, if you think that the government of India can default on repayment of your principal and the interest, then you have to worry. If you are nearly sure, and domestic bonds are not rated as such, it is considered to be ultra safe anyway. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you may not lose money by investing in gilt funds or long-term gilt funds, because that is one aspect of it. The credit aspect, that what is the likelihood of the government not paying the interest and principal on time. I would say that is nearly zero. Nearly zero, because there is nothing sure in this world. But I would say that for most domestic investors, even the post office MIP, I would consider it as a sovereign. It is, we are lending it to the government of India. And from that aspect, I would say that it is ultra safe. But gilt funds and long-term bonds, that doesn't mean that you are not exposed to risk. You are exposed to risk, because when interest rates go up, these bonds go down in value. When interest rates go down, these bonds go up. So you have a appreciation or a depreciation component depending on that. Your second question, that can the benchmarks and should also be standardized? Ideally, yes. But the SEBI classification of all equity funds and all fixed income fund is a fairly broad range. Like if you look at the 80%, if you look at the large cap definition or the multi cap definition, there is a possibility of a fund manager following a strategy, and possible of multiple there could be many benchmark possible. For example, the multi-cap fund can actually have a benchmark which is, appropriately, it could well be BSE 200 or NSE 200 or BSE 500. Both are appropriate. They actually get you a multi-cap exposure across large cap, mid cap, and small cap. Likewise, BSE 200 could well be could well be BSE 100 as well as BSE 200. Can be the benchmark for large and mid cap category, or even the large cap category can have BSE 100 or Sensex or Nifty. So multiple things possible. Ideally, it should be standardized, but depending on the strategy, the fund manager has chosen to consider the most appropriate benchmark. But those kind of refinement will not bring about a huge difference in the outperformance or underperformance, because benchmark is just a reference.